There you go, folks. I don't know if you can hear me, but I just wanted to say something. So I'm just getting ready now to wait for my friend to come online. But there he is there. You can see him in the picture there. So I just wanted to let you know and everybody know that we're on Maori Churr TV. And again, as I announced earlier, that Maori Churr TV is a program that I started over here in Toronto, Canada. And it was kind of a fun thing to start this because, like I said, it all started out with a little small camera, and then it turned into this type of show. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, now, if those of you that missed this, like I said earlier, that this show, Maori are Indigenous people of New Zealand. And then the word churr, it's a slang that we use. Slang like churr, bro. Nice car. Churr, bro. Nice bike you're riding. And of course, TV, it's not television. It is actually talking voices. Maori Churr talking voices. So today, I'm just waiting for my friend to come on. He was born and raised, Hayden is his name, Hayden Burford. He was born and raised in Timaru in the South Island. And he studied at the Canterbury University. And he moved to Auckland in 2011. Now, I know in 2011, that's when I went home in 2011, which I hadn't been home for 40 years. So I went home in 2011. That's when I saw the first rugby, the All Blacks. The All Blacks. Yes, I went back in 2011 to see the rugby. And Hayden now is, he moved there in 2011 for a business opportunity and to study sports management. So you can see him. I got him in the picture there. So I'm just waiting for Hayden to come up. And he also worked, I think he worked 4 seasons working with the Warriors, Vodafone Warriors, from 2015 to 2018. He moved to Canada in 2019, and he's on a 2-year residency here. So I'm looking forward to having a quick chat with him. And I saw him come on, but all of a sudden he went off. So maybe he's having a hard time to get on. But I'll just continue talking here. And Hayden also sits on the Toronto Kia board. It's a Kia Toronto group that has been put together here. Sarah All is the president of the group. And she has formed this group with everybody here. Can't wait to talk to Hayden about it so we can get all this started up here. And then we'll be talking about what he's done and what things that he has and he's going to be doing while he's living here in Toronto, because he lives here in Toronto now, and I'm sure he's maybe you get a little bit of homesick and going back home to New Zealand. So on a vacation, I'm sure he likes it here. But I'm going to bring him up in a couple of seconds here. So let me just take this picture out here, and that's Hayden there. We'll talk about that. So without further ado, I want to bring up my good friend. Like I said, I don't have guests on my show. These are all my friends. So I just want to bring up right now Mr. Hayden Burford. Okay, let me bring him up. Hayden, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, hang on. I'll just...
Yeah, how you doing?
Down.
Just want to know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Okay, maybe he's having a hard time hearing me, but I'll just continue on here. I know he's online, so that's good. And by the way, I just want to say hi to Toby Wilson, Lindsay Henry, Dave Jeffs. They're all watching online here. So thank you guys for coming on. And it's interesting to going to have a quick chat with Hayden there. I think he just stepped off because he couldn't hear, so he's trying to get some. He's going to try and come back on again. Anyway, so young guy that's moved from Timaru from the South Island. He went up to Auckland. He went up to Auckland to study. And let's bring him up again. See if I can get him on here. Can you hear me now, Hayden?
Yeah, that's much better, Dino. Thanks for that. Third time lucky.
Great to have you on, man. So let me just take my background music off so we can have a quick chat here. First of all, Hayden, thank you very much for coming on, for accepting this invite. And I was just reading your bio and all that. So very interesting. I was just going over a couple of things on your bio here, just letting the audience know about it. And again, I just want to say hi to a few people that come on. Lindsay Henry.
Yeah,
sure. Lindsay Henry is watching from the radio show. He's got a radio show in Gisborne. And Lindsay, he's got two shows. He's got the Green Door show, the radio show, and the Whānau show in Gisborne. So, and plus, I hope you're feeling okay, because I got your message yesterday, Lindsay. So I hope you're feeling a lot better, my friend. Okay, brother? And then there's Toby, and then there's Dave Jeffs. Dave Jeffs has got a radio show down in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh,
Richmond,
wow.
Virginia. Yeah, there's a Kiwi guy, Dave Jeffs. He's got a radio show going on down there, so pretty cool. So, Dave, you may have to contact Hayden and get him on your show too, man. So, So anyway, Hayden, born and raised. I'm going to let you talk about that, my friend, in Timaru. How's that?
Yeah. Well, born and raised in mighty Timaru in South Canterbury. It's a very big sporting town. We had Jack Lovelock, Farlat, Tom Welsh recently. We've had a few cricketers. We had a few All Blacks. So It was a good place to grow up as a kid. Very small town, though. So we spent a lot of time in our weekends in Christchurch and there. I guess the thing about living in Timaru is once you get to sort of 18, you want to expand and move further. So that's sort of why I went to Canterbury Uni. Yeah. And like I like watching the rugby. So, like to go to a Crusaders game and watch the cricket and all that, you don't really get much opportunities down in Timaru. So when I went to Christchurch, that was a big thing, going out on the weekends, watching the Crusaders win and watching the All Black games. And then later on, I moved to Auckland, which is another thing, you move from Christchurch, which is at the time I thought was a massive city. And then I moved to Auckland and I'm like, well, a bit lost in there, which is quite funny now that I'm in Toronto, which is even bigger. But it's just Auckland and Toronto are kind of similar, very big sporty scenes. And that's sort of why I wanted to move to Auckland, and same with Toronto. Come over here, get a different opportunity, different culture.
Yeah, you moved to Auckland in 2011, and that was the first time, 2011, I hadn't been home to New Zealand for 40 years.
Wow.
40, because I went back to see the All Blacks.
Rugby World Cup, yeah.
Yeah, the World Cup. And that was my first time going back. And I tell you, man, what a change. It was amazing. I don't know. I was just, I was just blown away by everything. So, but you moved from Timaru up to Auckland, because you studied at the Canterbury University there, correct?
Yes, that's correct. The reason why I moved up was still at the World Cup. I did some, I had a small business supplying the teams. So I was actually the official licensee of the Rugby World Cup. We were selling merchandise at the games. But, it was a crazy time. I remember that opening game, the whole of Queen Street, for anyone that knows Auckland, that was packed. They had 250,000 people there, 250,000 people. It was All Blacks Tonga. So all the Tongans were out there with their flags. But they just had to close off the street because the police were there, but they couldn't do anything. So, it was a crazy scenes, and I think on the viaduct they had to close it off because they were worried about just too many people there. It was unreal times.
Yeah, you know what? I walked from down the viaduct, right up to the game. I walked.
And in fairness, that was probably quicker because I know
choice.
that the train stopped. People were walking on the tracks. I know the ferry from Devonport. They couldn't get the ferry across, so it was absolutely chaos, but in a good way, I guess.
Yeah.
And it
It
really
was,
set that tournament up, like New Zealand went well and won it, of course,
yeah,
but, it was a really good time to be in New Zealand. I think throughout the whole country, it was awesome.
that's correct. Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. That was so much fun. So now I see you wearing your is that the Warriors, the Vodafone?
Yeah,
Because
I
you
have to
worked,
wear the Warriors.
yeah, because you worked for them, didn't you?
Yes, yes.
You
So
worked
this is the
for the you worked for the Mad Butcher. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah.
Or
So
yeah,
kind of. So basically, first of all, this is the 20-year anniversary. So this is from 95 to 2015. So I thought I'll get that out there.
yeah,
I like it because if you can see on the logo, they've cut the new and
yes,
old logo. So the original
yes,
logo, which is the green one, and then the newer logo there. I really
yes,
like the way they did that to celebrate.
yeah, yeah,
So basically, in 2015 was my first season with them. So it's
right,
part of my studies. I would go in on the game day. So when they're playing at Mount Smart and just help them run the events and that. So part of that was working with Sir Peter Leach, which most people know as the Mad Butcher.
yes,
So that was really cool. And once again, like I went in there as 2015, still a guy from Timaru that was a bit starstruck, just
yeah,
walking around and seeing like Manu and Sean Johnson and all those guys.
yeah,
But like after spending the season there, I realized how cool it was. And these, you just realize these are just normal guys. And actually, a lot of them were younger than me, so that was quite
right,
interesting. But you learn that they're really cool people and all that. Getting behind the scenes.
sure,
Thing about rugby league is a big cultural thing. I guess it comes with the backgrounds of the Pacific Island players and that, but it's more a family thing. So like everyone's real friendly in that. Like
yeah,
we were only like volunteers going in on game days, but we're treated as staff. We get
correct,
they give us the
yeah,
full head to toe on gear. So like that's the thing. All my friends back home would always ask me for a Warriors like shirt or shorts. Like
yeah,
always trying to steal my gear when I go back down. So that was a really cool experience for me. Like
yes, yeah,
wanting to get involved in sports management. We
right,
had one good season out of 4, which was actually quite lucky. The season 2018, my last season,
right,
was good. They actually made the playoffs for the first time in about
yeah,
7 years. So that was really cool to actually have a winning season. But
mm-hmm.
the thing about the Warriors is they're probably the most supported team apart from the All Blacks in New Zealand. Like we lost 8 games in a row one year, but we'd still get 10,000 people there, like
Right, yeah,
fans are very loyal. They'll turn up no matter what,
yeah, yeah,
just because
yeah,
if the Warriors are on, you want to watch it, like, yeah, they can be very bad when they're losing, but when they're on,
yeah,
they'll be the best team in the
the
comp. So
yeah. I've got some pictures I'm going to show later. I'm going to bring up some pictures and you can talk about that.
yeah,
So,
sure.
yeah. Now, then you decided. Well, what made you decide to come overseas? Did you get a contract or something? Just kicked in that you said, "Hey, listen, I'm
Yeah,
out
I
of
was, yeah.
here."
Overseas was always a thing. Like, I think once again, living in New Zealand, especially a smaller town, like,
Yeah.
like it's quite funny. I actually went to Australia when I was 15. That's the first time I was on a plane. And I hadn't even been to the North Island at that stage. But I think living in New Zealand, you just want to travel because we're so isolated and we can't do it as easy as, say, people that live in Europe. So
Yeah.
I was always thinking of going to the UK because my sisters lived there for almost 10 years. So
Right.
I always thought I'd go to the UK. And then one of my mates was going to Canada in 2019 and he was trying to push me to go. And I was like, no, I don't want to go to Canada. But then, like, the more and more I looked into it, the more and more I decided that Canada is probably a better option than the UK because I
Yes.
really wanted to go out of my comfort zone. Like with the UK, I feel like there's a lot of well, UK is just a lot of Kiwis and Aussies
Yeah.
over there as well, and it's very
Yeah.
similar culture, right? So
Mhm.
always wanted to travel through North America, so I thought, well, why not go to Canada? Different culture, different sporting environment,
That's right.
and of course, 2019 was a great year to come.
Yeah.
With the Raptors going so well. So, yeah, that's sort of
That's right.
and I guess the outdoor scenery here is like, yeah, winters were very tough when I first came. But, in summer, it's very good to go and explore. So, and that's something I've gotten into.
Yeah. So did you come in the winter time or you came in the summertime?
Yeah. Well, I came via the UK, but I spent so I left the UK on December 29th. 2018, I did a stopover in Iceland and spent New Year's Eve in Iceland, which is absolutely crazy over there. They just love it. Like if anyone wants to come
Cool.
to Canada via the UK, stop over in Iceland. Yeah, it's expensive, but it's well worth it. It's very much like New Zealand. The people are very
Nice.
friendly and it's very touristy, so it's very nice.
Right.
So I arrived in Canada
Yeah.
on the 2nd of January 2019. So my whole idea was
Almost full
yeah,
winter,
it was
almost.
probably a bit stupid to be honest, but my idea was why not start the year? Like if I'm going to go somewhere, I'm like I want to start the year there. But obviously it's a bit different to New Zealand, right? So you got here first day it snowed. Managed to get myself to Union Station, and then I was a bit lost. I was going to a hostel on Church Street, so yeah, it was a bit of an experience, you know, a bit of snow, and I was like, oh wow, look at all this snow, and then all the locals are like, oh, that's nothing, you know. So it's something I quickly learned that, you know, like I remember the first couple of times it snowed, I'll be like sending photos back home, and then you know, by February I was sick of it, you know. You know, but you quickly adapt. But you know, I'm sort of glad I came that winter because that winter was very harsh. I remember we were going to watch the Super Bowl, and it was like the outside temperature was like -30 or something. We only had to walk 2-3 minutes to the pub, but like it was so cold, and I've never been so cold in my life. But you know, to come here in winter and experience it, it prepared me for the last couple of winters I've been here. So you know, it's a good experience. Whereas I know people that came in summer and then like they get all the good weather, and then winter's just a big shock. So
yeah, sure.
I'm glad I came then.
So when you arrived in so when you arrived in Toronto, were you aware that there was a bar, New Zealand bar here, Hemingway's, or you didn't know about it? Or
I think I'd vaguely seen it on Facebook. You know, like what I always look up when I go like travel. I always look up see if there's any New Zealand bars, and then I look up which Irish bars are the ones to go to. Right, so I didn't know about Hemingway's, and I think I did go there on my second or third week here. I think was the first time I went there.
Right. So now, so now you arrived in Canada, you arrived in Toronto, and now you had to adjust to the temperature here and the city. Did you have a job to go to? Do you have a contact here when you arrived here? Anybody you knew when you arrived?
No, not really. I knew a few people that had been in Canada that could put me in the right direction, but like the whole point of coming here was to challenge myself. You know, you come over here and you know you book your accommodation and that's it. So I didn't know if I was gonna stay in Toronto. Like I was thinking about Vancouver, and then of course it's probably another thing, a bit naive how big Canada is. You know, like I guess in New Zealand, you know, like you can go from Auckland to Christchurch to Wellington. You know, it's nothing. So I thought I'd start in Toronto, but then once I found out how far away the other places are, I was like, well, I definitely need to stay here. So I just started looking for jobs. I was in a hostel, so that was good. Like, you know, a lot of people in the same boat coming over for working holidays. So the first 3-4 weeks is just your typical partying, making friends in the hostel and that. And you know, I was looking for jobs at the same time, but I think by the end of the first month, I had a job working in a store that sells like smoothies and like did green juice and that. So that was cool.
Yeah. So, and then you got yourself established here, and then you joined the Toronto Kia team. Group here in Toronto. Like, so you're at admin. You sit on the board for the Toronto Kia group.
Yeah. Well, so that was through an unfortunate situation, I guess. It was it March 2019? I think the Christchurch terror attack happened. So that was a big thing for me. Like, I saw that happening, and I'm like, you know, I'm so far from home, and you know, it's probably the only time I felt homesick, to be honest. And you know, I was like, well, we've got to do something. So I remember reaching out to Sarah, who's the chairman of our board, and like, just asking her, like, we've got to do something. And I had a few sporting contacts, and I got in touch with MLEC, who do the Raptors and the Maple Leafs, and they were like really supportive. And they were like, oh, they sent me stuff, and I was like, they sent me a signed Maple Leafs jersey, a Raptors singlet, and I was like, wow, we have to actually do something now because we've got all the stuff.
Nice.
So that's sort of how I got involved. So we did the fundraiser at Hemingway's in April or May of that year. I can't quite remember, but yeah, it was a big event. Like I was so surprised. Like we sold out our tickets. Like I didn't know how many people would turn up, but that was just the one thing I found is after that event in Christchurch was even when I went to work, and people knew I was Kiwi, and they were like so sorry for me, and like I've never seen anything like that. Like how much people appreciated New Zealanders. Like people generally felt sorry for me when checking out that I'm okay. Like, and these people didn't know that, you know, I've spent a lot of time in Christchurch. So it's, you know, it's quite personal when you've, you know, especially after Christchurch going through earthquakes in 2011 and that, it was just unbelievable to have another sort of event like that. So that's the one thing I liked about Canada was all these people I didn't really know that well, like coming up to me, asking about it, wanting to talk about New Zealand.
Right, yeah.
People wanted to donate to our event, and you know, it was a really awesome event. And then I think after that, Sarah asked me to join the board. So that's
that was a great event.
Yeah, it was.
That was a great event. You guys did a fantastic job. Sarah, yourself, and there was other people that were on the board that really pulled together. Thomas, and I may have missed a couple others, but the team, you guys did an excellent job, and it was fantastic. You know, like, man, what a great support that everybody came to Hemingway's, and that was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing, the support. Like we had all the local teams. We had the Maple Leafs, Raptors, Blue Jays, Wolfpack, Arrows. So that's all the Toronto teams donated stuff. But
that's correct.
Even like Warren Gatlin sent over a top from Wales, you know, Welsh rugby coach. We got a shirt from Ireland. I had a few contacts there, and then like I emailed them and they sent stuff over, and yeah, it was amazing. Just the amount of donations we got. Like we almost had too much on the tail. It's just a bit overwhelming.
Yeah. I also remember this. You played a major role too with us because we were getting ready to do a haka for Sonny Bill when he was coming to Toronto. And you were the one that sort of was in contact with the vice president, I believe, of the team there.
John.
And John, that's right. And we're getting ready. We're in the practice mode, and I will show a picture later, you know, on the screen later about that. So yeah, you played an important role there too, Hayden. So thank you for that. By the way, that was great.
Yeah, well, it's one thing. As soon as we knew Sonny was coming, and I heard about that in the start of 2019. They were talking about it, but once he signed, I think that's something we talked about as a board, like what we can do, and like we had to work with the Wolfpack. Like the first idea was go to the airport to a haka, but they weren't sure how that would be, like what reception they would get it in North America when they're not sort of familiar with it. So like that's when I think I talked to you about doing a haka group. You know, like we planned to do a haka for Sunnyville's first game in Toronto. We're like going to meet up with them, you know, just help them out. And that's sort of what the group's there for. Like, not just these famous sportsmen coming over, just anyone that's coming over that wants help. But, you know, it's a shame that he never got to come to Toronto. You know, the whole thing's a shame because it would have been awesome, especially that first game doing a haka.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
But hopefully that's something we can do in the future. You know, we have a few Kiwi athletes that come to Toronto. Like, love to do something for Stephen Adams. I know Scott Dixon, the IndyCar driver, he was going to come to Toronto last year, and we were trying to organize something with him. He said he was very keen to do a meetup or something, so hopefully next year we can do something with him. So yeah, that's the sort of thing. Any sort of Kiwi events, we could have get the haka, do a haka, and
I know Scott Dixon's crew manager, which is Blair Julian. He's from New Plymouth. And you know, I'm on his Facebook page, and I text him once in a while. And that'll be interesting. You know, when they come here to, you know, I would love to get them on Maori Churr TV.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, an interview and all that'd be great, man. That'd be awesome if we could do that. You know, so that'd be fun. So now you're based in Toronto. Yeah. So now you're living in Toronto now. What do you do in Toronto?
So at the moment I'm doing some night merchandising at a supermarket. So with COVID, you know, that's sort of ended the sports side of things. So basically, like I got laid off from my other job, and then I was doing Uber Eats for a while, just driving around doing that. But then I saw this opportunity to go on and be a night merchandiser at the supermarket. So we the major draw card of that is you travel around Ontario. So I've been to Ottawa, Orillia, Barrie, and the last 3 weeks I spent in Ottawa. There's not much to do there, but you can still go out. I take my bike and go for bike rides and that. So basically what the job involves is doing the renovations in the supermarket. So you go in and we remove all the shelves, put the new ones in, then stock it. So it is a bit difficult working nights. That's probably the first thing, like working nights and then trying to sleep during the day. But at the moment, I actually enjoy it, a bit less stress and just going. And like I said, traveling around Ontario.
Yeah. Well, at least you have a job. That's one good thing. Because this time, with all this,
and that's the thing.
With all this going on.
That's what I said to my girlfriend. I'm quite lucky in a way I get to leave Toronto for work because, even traveling to Ottawa for that 4.5 hours, it gives me some space, otherwise I'd be stuck at home just in the same house, and you can't really do much. So that's cool, I guess. And looking at it, we're going down to Windsor in a few weeks.
Yeah. Good. So you got some good news recently.
Yes. It was Friday 2 weeks ago. So it was a very big day because we got our vaccines and then we got home and me and my girlfriend Jess, we read our emails and our permanent residency had been confirmed. So we thought it was a great day,
Well, congratulations, my friend. I'm excited for you. That's awesome.
I'll add to that. So when I first came over here, you get a 2-year working visa from New Zealand. So my plan was come over here on a one-way trip and plan on staying, but I didn't know if I would stay here. I thought I might go to the UK or somewhere else, to be honest. So I guess 2019 was really good. 2020 with COVID probably actually made the decision a lot easier to stay. I felt like I missed a year, so I really wanted to stay and see more of Canada. So, and we got our residency. We applied in November last year, so it took about just over 6 months, I think. So it wasn't too hard. And they extend you a visa while you wait for the application. So I had another year anyway. But so basically that gives me another 5 years. I can stay at Canada in the moment. So it was really good.
Awesome. So right now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to pull up some pictures now that I've got.
Sure.
So so here's one you'll be able to share with us. For those people, for those people that don't know that gentleman in the photo there with the green shirt, that's me. But it's the other guy that I'm talking to that Hayden knows very well. So I'm going to step out of the picture here, Hayden. You're going to talk a little bit about that gentleman because you know him. So I'm going to step out and let you, let you say a few words there. So here we go.
Yeah. So Sir Peter Leach, aka the Mad Butcher, famous in New Zealand for running the Mad Butcher stores, but he's probably his last 20 years more been about working with the Vodafone Warriors. Very good guy. All the stuff he does is for free. So every time they go on tour, I think you said that was in Rotorua, Dino. So he's always there with them. He's actually classed as their 18th man. He's probably their biggest supporter, really. Really nice guy. He's always into league. I remember messaging him last year about the Wolfpack, and he was keen to get involved and learn more about that. So he's a very interesting character, but definitely probably one of the, in New Zealand sports, I can't think of anyone else that's probably had the impact he has. And there's one thing about him. He'll always say, I got in trouble because if you say the Warriors, he would always correct you and be like, no, it's the Vodafone Warriors. Because he's got a very good point. Vodafone pays a lot of money to be the naming rights sponsor. Right, so I'm very careful to make sure you say the Vodafone Warriors rather than
Vodafone Warriors. Yeah. So here's a picture of one of the players. I don't know if you know the player, but that was one of the, that's one of the players that I met. Been down there because they were in Rotorua. The Vodafone Warriors were in Rotorua, and that's why I met the team and him, the Mad Butcher there. So it was great meeting the whole team. And I got a few more here I want to show you. I don't know if you know. Again, you must probably know the players.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know the players. See, That's nice. That's good. But I'm going to
I
throw
know
this.
them. They don't really
Yeah,
know me, but
yeah. But I'm going to throw this picture in too, and I think this is the one that I had of you there. See?
oh, the
Now, if you want
Algonquin.
to talk to me a little bit about that one,
Yeah, sure.
that
That's Algonquin Provincial Park, which is about 3.5 hours from Toronto. So last year in the lockdown, after we got a car, me and my girlfriend, we decided to do a bit of camping. So we got into doing the provincial parks, and everyone said Algonquin was really nice. So you get a lot of moose and black bears there. So I saw that sign and I thought, well, why not get a photo there? Still haven't seen a moose. I've been there 2 times. We actually went back in winter when it was just covered in snow, and I saw the same sign. So I got another photo this time in winter clothing. Hopefully, we'll be going back sometime this year, probably in autumn, because autumn's when it's most popular because of the leaves. You get really good views of all the different colors and that. So that's probably the one thing I want to tick off this year.
yeah, it's beautiful when you go
Yeah,
around to a lot of
yeah.
places here in Canada. Yeah,
But
it's amazing, man. It's
the
beautiful.
funny thing about that is, so we arrived to the campground and there's a sign. It's like, "Be aware, black bear in the area." So
Mhm.
we just thought like that sign was always there, but apparently it's not. So like we found out they only put the sign there where the bear's been like active in the last 24 hours. But
Oh, yeah,
I've learned a lot about black bears and moose and
right.
all the animals around these parks. Is actually quite interesting. And
Yeah, yeah,
I must say, like, camping in Canada is very different to New Zealand. Like in New Zealand, you don't have to worry about leaving your food in your tent,
yeah,
whereas in Canada, everything has to go on your
yeah,
vehicle or up
yeah,
a tree because the animals will come and eat it.
yeah, you wouldn't want a big bear to come and knock on your tent door, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
didn't. We had to go and buy bear spray. I didn't even know what bear spray was, but yeah, we always carry a can just in case, But
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you gotta have that, around over here. Did you ever go to Quebec?
no,
Have you been to
no,
Quebec yet?
no.
It's
Sorry, we did
beautiful up there.
actually.
Quebec
I've
is
been to. Yeah,
beautiful.
I did a trip. Went to Montreal. Sorry, yeah, I have.
Yeah,
I want to go back
Quebec.
up there some stage.
Yeah,
Yes.
especially the parks up there in Quebec. Oh, it's beautiful. I've been to the 4 corners of Quebec, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, it's definitely
at
on our
least a
list.
good 10 times, yeah. So, yeah, so let me go back to this, again to the, Vodafone Warriors here. I had to show off my little grandniece there, so, yeah, because we
It's
took some pictures.
it's funny that vehicle. I remember once I had to. It was a game day, and I had to drive one of the Warriors branded Suzuki cars, and I was driving around, and like I was wondering why everyone was waving at me, like, and it was quite funny. I'm like, it took me a while to realize that you're driving this branded car, so like every time you stop, everyone's like waving at you, and like it's kind of cool. Like it makes you feel important, you're just this random dude, but it's kind of funny.
There you go, some more of the players there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let me see here. I've got another picture here. Let me see this one. Oh, this is with my brother. My brother I had because my brother was the one that really, he said, "Oh, you got to come with me, brother." He said,
Yeah,
"I want
yeah,
to show
yeah.
you." He said, "These are the Vodafone Warriors," and I said, "Where?" Well, at that time, I really didn't know who they were. I've heard of them, but I really didn't know who they were. So, yeah, I'll just
Uh,
step out.
Yeah, I can imagine that was quite the fanfare. Like we went to New Plymouth one year, and I just couldn't believe like the fans just come out. Like the amount of fans, like people just think it's an Auckland team, and even some of the staff, I guess, they don't realize how big the Warriors are in the rest of New Zealand. Like when we were in New Plymouth, I remember watching Sean Johnson sign. Like he just had an endless line of people to sign autographs, and he did it. Like he probably had 200-300 people, and he just stood there taking selfies and signing autographs.
Yeah,
I remember thinking, like, how do you do that? But it's just no matter where they go, they've been to Dunedin, they've been to Christchurch, and the fans just come out. Like, I think after the All Blacks, they're definitely the second best supported team in New Zealand.
right. So, okay, let me bring this person up. This is a very good
Yes,
friend of yours.
that's my girlfriend Jess. So
Yeah.
she's from the UK, and
Okay.
so the thing is, we actually met here. So we actually met in the hostel. So I stayed at High Toronto Hostel on Church Street when we arrived. So that was quite cool because I was there for 6 weeks, and that's where I met a lot of my friends. And very lucky to meet Jess. So Jess is from the UK, but I've got friends that I met in the hostel all over Europe. So that's a cool thing, we've got all these different cultures together. Oh, here's the Haka group. Very good fun times. That was a shame that we had to cut that one short.
Yeah, that was the Haka group that we're putting together for when Sonny Bill came to Toronto. We were going to go to the stadium and then and perform the haka to welcome Sonny Bill. Yeah, so and we practiced. We got into the practice.
We were going good.
Yeah, we were going good, man.
We were just getting into it when.
Yeah, that was a fun thing for us to do. I'll show you another one. I'll show you another picture. There we go. That was Dimmy.
Yeah,
Dimmy was leading us. To get it all.
Yeah, Dimmy was very good at I think teaching us all about it.
Correct.
Dino, I've seen the haka so much, but you don't really learn a lot about it in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So it's good to learn and actually learn all the words properly and
That's correct. Yeah. Here's your friend.
He's another great guy, Benji Marshall.
All right.
So this is pretty much what I do at the games. I just after the games take selfies with the players. The good thing about the league players is most of them are pretty happy, pretty friendly. We'd carry all the gear in bags, and you take it to the team bus, and afterwards they'll give us. Sometimes they give us their gear and that as well, but they're always happy to take a photo. So that was in 2018. So I decided to make a point of getting their photos, especially Benji Marshall. He's probably one of the greatest Kiwi players ever. This one is in the beer garden at the Toronto Wolfpack game. I miss those times. If people have never heard about it, it's basically one of the in-goal areas was just full of beer tents, and you just go there and drink beer and watch the Wolfpack play. It was a very good, fun time. After the games, they'd even put a DJ in. So in New Zealand, everyone leaves after full time. With the Wolfpack games, you'd be there 2, 3, 4 hours after the game. This one is the Mati Matonga versus Australia game in Mount Smart in 2018. As you can see, the whole ground was red with Tongans and Tongan flags. Absolutely amazing. Never seen anything like it, to be honest. Been to All Black games, but the Tongan fans are just something different. And the way they sing, and the biggest thing about that game is the Tongans sung their national anthem, but then straight afterwards they sung the Australian anthem. And I remember that really shocked some of the Australian players. They're like, wow, this is amazing. What's this one? Oh, that's Stephen Fleming. So that was in Brampton. They had a 2020 cricket tournament. Stephen Fleming was coaching one of the teams. Brendan McCullum was playing that day. Jimmy Neesham, Chris Gale was there. So we saw some big superstars on that day. It was a good day out. Another legend, Jonathan Thurston. I think that's a game he injured his shoulder, and I think my hand was on his shoulder. So very glad he still took the photo. I didn't realize till afterwards, but another great guy. It's amazing. These guys are superstars, and that's the thing, man. You realize they know how to interact with fans, and that they know it's all about that.
Yeah, nice, man, nice. And this is.
Yeah, so this was actually, it's quite funny. This is actually before the Raptors won the championship in 2019. So I think this was in February, March of that year. They did this NBA showcase. And I took my mate along, and I was taking the photo, and I was like, well, let's hope this trophy stays here. A bit of a joke, not expecting it to happen. And then, of course, after that, the Raptors went on to win. So it was cool to have a photo of the trophy because when they won, I could send that around to all my friends and be like, yeah, Raptors are the champions. So very lucky to be in Toronto at that time. Bodine Thompson, who was he played for the Vodafone Warriors, played for the New Zealand Kiwis. That's him playing for the Wolfpack. So another thing I loved about the Wolfpack was after the games, they would come and join you in the beer garden, and you could just talk to them. You don't really get that interaction in most North American sports. So that's one thing. That's one thing. The Canadians that went to the game loved. The locals was the fact that they can talk to these players, and some of them became friends with some of the players and that, they're very good with their families and all that. And I remember talking to Bodine, because he saw we were Kiwis, so he comes straight over, and it's just love talking to us about league and what he was telling us about his family and all that, Nice. This one would have been the Raptors. So this would have been one of the NBA final games. in 2019. This was at a bar, you know, like it was like crazy times. Like for me, it was like the Rugby World Cup in New Zealand in 2011. That's me and Jess. We went out, we got matching shirts, you know, it was a fun time, you know. This is another Algonquin picture. I love the scenery, you know. A lot of people think that's like a green screen, but it's not. It's just the way, this is what it looks like. So sending these photos home, a lot of people just like, wow,
Exactly.
they want to come here.
That's what it looks like over here in Canada. It's beautiful when you go to these parks, man. It's yeah, it's really, really, really nice. So if you ever come to Canada, I tell you, man, check it out. Look at that.
Yeah,
So, you know,
and I think that's actually a beaver pond. Yeah, but like it's the same thing. The colors are just amazing, you know. Like, yeah, I heard it was good, and you look it up, but not. It's one of those places you don't appreciate it till you actually go there.
yeah, that's true. Like I said, there's places in Quebec that are beautiful, just like that too. Oh, it's fantastic. I really enjoyed, you know, going around to the parks in Quebec. Like I've been to the four corners of Quebec, at least,
Wow,
you
yeah,
know,
that's
50
definitely on the
times.
list.
Travel around. It's beautiful up there. You know, I really, really enjoyed it. So, yeah, you got some nice pictures there, my friend. That's really nice. So, now we're getting to the end of things, and I just wanted to thank you very much for coming on and accepting this
Yeah, no
invitation.
problem.
And like I said, I don't have guests on my show, Hayden. I have friends, and you're definitely, you know, a very good friend of mine, and I know you living here in Toronto, and once all this is over, with the COVID and pandemic and everything, and I know you're a very active guy. You want to get things done. You want to do things, and you're the right man to be on our Kia team here in Toronto. And there's other guys that are sitting on the board with you, you know, like Thomas, and then you got Brian, and maybe I've missed a couple, and you know Sarah's got a good team going here. So I just hope that you know, we can get things happening and get back to normal. But this time we can start doing things. You know, maybe, you know, like I said, maybe I can get involved too by interviewing people that are coming over.
Yeah, definitely.
Whoever, anybody, and then, you know, get something happening here, because there are Kia teams around. They're in Washington D.C. They're in Chicago. They're in Michigan, Buffalo. There's, you know, they're all over. So it's great if we can continue working together, you know, and touching base with each other and finding out what's going on. So
yeah, and
I
I think if anyone wants to join the groups, it's Kia Canada Toronto. We've got one for that, and we've got a Kia Canada, just a general group. So if you search it on Facebook, or you contact me or Dino, we can always put you in the right place. And if you got any questions about moving here, you know, like whether you're young or old, you know, like I did it the IAC way, but some people are moving here. So, you know, that's sort of what the group's about. We can help you with that. And we are looking at doing more things, hopefully next year, and, you know, getting involved more. And, you know, we've got 2 years to catch up on. So
absolutely,
should be a good time.
Yeah. Well, Hayden, thanks very much, man. I just really do appreciate you coming on and sharing your journey, and sharing, you know, from you coming over from New Zealand. But I just want to leave you with one thing here. So I want to play this. Am
I in this?
You're around the corner somewhere. I don't know if you're in this. I'm just going to hit the video, and then we're going to go off here. So. There you go. Yeah, like you were around the corner. I think you're just on the other side of the picture, bro.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing. No, that was fun. Like, it's all about the learning, right?
That's right. Yeah. No, it was amazing, man. And I, once again, I just want to thank you for coming up on
Yeah, no
Maori Churr TV and Talking Voices, sharing your experience and your journey over here to Toronto, Canada. Hayden, thanks very much, my friend. Appreciate everything. All right.
Problem. Thanks for that, Dino. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you're
welcome.
Catch you later. Bro. Yeah, thanks very much, eh? Awesome. Well, folks, I just want to say thank you to Hayden for being on the show today. And don't forget, at 5 o'clock, that's about an hour and a half from now, I do 5 Alive. I'm singing 5 songs around at 5 o'clock. And hey, it's going to be pretty cool because I got some songs that I want to, sing out there to everybody. And hopefully, you guys will enjoy it. So let me just say thank you very much for everybody that's coming on. And I'll see you 5 Alive at 5 right here on Maori Churr TV. Thank you to Hayden Burford for coming on. Cheers. Kia ora.